Welcome to this video on navigating the tech job market with temporary work status. Today we will explore how to position your Employment Authorization Document, or EAD, as the centerpiece of your work eligibility, while keeping your private immigration details private. We will discuss how to answer tricky questions, avoid overdisclosure, and pivot to your technical value. We will also include diagrams, practical scripts, and a couple of quizzes to test your understanding. Let's begin by outlining what we'll cover, and then we'll dive into the essentials of work authorization and strategic communication. Here is our agenda. First, we cover why this topic matters in the tech industry. Next, we clarify how your EAD functions as definitive proof of work authorization. Then, we address what to say and what not to say in applications and interviews. After that, we share best practices you can apply immediately. We'll visualize your workflow with diagrams and reinforce learning with quizzes. Finally, we will end with important disclaimers and next steps. In the tech industry, hiring often moves quickly because teams need talent to solve immediate problems. However, HR teams remain very careful about compliance, particularly around work authorization. Your goal is to make it easy for them. You can do this by clearly stating that you are authorized to work and by presenting your EAD during I-9 verification. Then, pivot quickly to demonstrating your technical impact. With that context set, let's move on to exactly how your EAD functions in the hiring process. Your EAD is an official government-issued document confirming your legal authorization to work in the United States. For the I-9 employment verification process, the EAD is a List A document, which means it both establishes identity and employment authorization by itself. Therefore, it is sufficient for federal hiring requirements. When asked about your status, use a brief and clear statement. I am legally authorized to work in the United States, and I can present my EAD for I-9 verification. Immediately pivot the conversation to your technical strengths, such as cloud architecture, security hardening, or data engineering results. Keep your language concise and confident, and avoid volunteering details about your underlying immigration application. Next, we will expand on why limiting disclosure is strategically important. Strategic silence means you focus only on relevant facts required to complete hiring. Your EAD and your authorization to work are the relevant facts. Over-disclosing details about a pending asylum case or other immigration matters often introduces uncertainty or bias that can slow or derail hiring decisions. Keeping your message simple enables HR to confidently proceed. In the technology sector, specialized skills are in high demand, and when you demonstrate strong capabilities, your temporary work status becomes an administrative detail rather than a barrier. Prepare concise statement templates for yourself, as shown in the list, and always follow up with data-driven achievements. Now, let's translate this into concrete best practices you can apply in forms and interviews. Here are practical steps for applications and interviews. First, on application forms, when asked about future sponsorship, answer according to your EAD's validity. If your EAD covers the foreseeable employment term and you are not requesting employer-sponsored visas like H-1B, you can select number. Second, during interviews, use a clear work authorization statement referencing your EAD and the I-9 verification. Third, immediately pivot to a concise impact story, such as cost savings or performance improvements. Fourth, proactively mention EAD validity dates if it helps reassure the employer and indicate you track renewals. Fifth, if pressed for more information, keep answers short and return to discussing your technical contributions. Finally, close by reinforcing both your business impact and your compliance readiness. Next, we will visualize the hiring workflow so you can see where strategic silence fits. This flowchart shows the typical hiring path for an EAD holder in an IT role. It begins with submitting an application, proceeds to HR screening, and then to a point where an authorization question may be asked. If that question appears, the candidate responds simply, stating they are legally authorized to work and will present their EAD for I-9 verification. That path leads directly to technical interviews, then an offer, followed by I-9 verification, and onboarding. The alternate path shows what happens if the candidate over-discloses underlying immigration details, which can cause confusion or delays and potentially loop the process back to HR screening. The key takeaway is that concise, compliant communication prevents unnecessary friction and accelerates the decision. This sequence diagram models the conversation flow between a recruiter and a candidate. When asked about sponsorship, the candidate responds based on the current EAD, indicating that no sponsorship is required. When asked about status, the candidate states they are legally authorized and will present the EAD for I-9 verification. Immediately after, the candidate pivots to discussing impactful project results, such as a complex Kubernetes migration or CI/CD automation. If needed, the candidate reassures the recruiter that EAD renewals are monitored to ensure continuity. This structure keeps the discussion focused on value while satisfying compliance needs. Now, let's compare over-disclosure with a focused communication strategy. On the left, we see the pitfalls of over-disclosure, introducing private immigration details that do not affect immediate work eligibility, creating ambiguity about future status, inviting bias, and distracting from your technical skills. On the right, a focused approach clearly states legal work authorization, keeps the message simple and compliant, builds confidence among decision makers, and keeps the conversation centered on your contributions and value. With that comparison in mind, let's look at some sample answers you can adapt to your style. This table gives you practical scripts. For sponsorship, answer based on your current EAD, stating that no sponsorship is required if that is accurate. For status, reaffirm that you are legally authorized and will present your EAD for I-9 verification. For validity duration, provide the date and note that you are proactive about renewals. If pressed for private case details, restate that your immigration information is private while confirming you meet I-9 requirements, then pivot to your results. Now, let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. Quiz time. The question is, a recruiter asks, "What is your immigration status?" Which is the strongest response? Option A. Explain your pending asylum details plus EAD validity. Option B. State you are legally authorized to work and will present your EAD for I-9. Option C. Say it is private and refuse to answer any questions. Option D. Ask to skip the question and move on. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the correct answer in the next section. The correct answer is option B. It is concise, compliant with hiring requirements, and avoids unnecessary disclosure. It signals professionalism and moves the conversation forward to your skills and contributions. Next, we will continue with a second question about sponsorship. Here is the second quiz question. On an application, you are asked whether you will require sponsorship now or in the future. Your EAD covers the role's duration, and you are not requesting an employer-sponsored visa such as H-1B. Which option should you select? Option A. Yes, because you are not a permanent resident yet. Option B. No, because your current EAD covers the role's duration and you are not requesting sponsorship. Option C. Prefer not to say. Option D. Leave it blank. You may pause the video now to consider your answer. We will go over the correct choice in the next section. The correct answer is option B. You should answer based on the coverage provided by your EAD. If it covers the role's duration and you are not requesting employer sponsorship, then no is the accurate and compliant choice. Now, let's lock in the major takeaways. These are the key takeaways. First, lead with your EAD, because it is definitive proof for I-9 purposes. Second, keep your messaging simple to avoid over-disclosure. Third, pivot quickly to your technical capabilities and measurable outcomes. Fourth, answer sponsorship questions based on your EAD's coverage. Finally, remember that high-value technical skills often outweigh concerns about temporary status, so demonstrate your value clearly. Next, we will summarize your next steps. To move forward, draft and practice your EAD-centered scripts so they become automatic. Build a portfolio that foregrounds results and clear metrics. Track your EAD validity dates and renewal timelines with reminders. Practice interview pivots until they feel natural and effortless. Maintain consistency across all touchpoints, including applications, interviews, and follow-up emails. Before we close, let's address important disclaimers to keep you safe and compliant. This video provides general information and is not legal advice. Regulations and employer policies vary by jurisdiction and by role. Some positions, such as those involving certain federal contracts or security clearances, may have citizenship or permanent status requirements that your EAD alone may not satisfy. You have the right to choose which documents to present for I-9 within the acceptable lists. Avoid misrepresentation at all times. Answer accurately based on your EAD and your circumstances. For personalized guidance, consult a qualified immigration or employment attorney. With that, let's wrap up. Here is a concise Markdown-style recap you can drop into your personal notes. It includes a short status script, a sponsorship response based on the EAD, a pivot to results, and a statement about validity dates and renewals. Using standardized, concise phrasing reduces stress and ensures consistent, compliant communication. Finally, let's close with a thank you and a call to action. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please like it, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe for more practical career guidance. In the comments, share your favorite pivot line or a script that works for you so others can learn from your experience. See you in the next video.